Okay, for our next project, we are going to do a Keith Haring pastel project. Now, I had you watch the Keith Haring video where they read the book, The Boy Who Kept Drawing. So you have a little bit of history about the artist Keith Haring. So you kind of have an idea about his art and what he stood for. So here is a finished example of the picture that you guys are going to do. And so I'm going to talk a little bit about Keith Haring in general and his art. So his artwork has a lot of, this is just kind of breaks up kind of the characteristics of his drawings. His drawings usually have simplified, stylized figures. The figures don't have any faces. They're just very basic and bold. They are surrounded, everything is surrounded by bold lines. And his figures and any subject in his drawings have rhythmic lines that make them appear to vibrate or move. So they're all they have lines in them that make them look like they're moving or exploding or giving expression to them. So in his artwork, he had a lot of symbolism. He had a lot of dancing people. He had dogs. He had in like this little radiating baby. He had flying saucers. He did a whole series with hearts on them. This is a few examples of his work. Here's one that's really cool. And this shows a pretty good example of the bold lines and the rhythmic lines. See how this one looks like he's like, you can almost hear the barking of the dog because of how these lines go out. Or these dancing figures up here, you almost see them move because of how he puts these lines with the foot kicking or the elbow wiggling, or the like the baby, it almost seems like he's crying, or maybe he's laughing. Like this spaceship, it's like maybe it's spinning in a circle. He uses the lines, these little rhythmic lines, to give movement to his pictures. Here's another example, maybe a different one, just kind of, again, he has his like baby, his dog. He has this, I think this was like I don't remember what it was, but this is another more of the stuff that he does. So what we're going to do is we're going to start, again, we're going to start by drawing our person, and then we're going to have a horizon line with a pattern background. You can put a heart in it. You don't have to. I did because I kind of liked the thought about a heart around this time of year. And then you're going to add these movement lines. So we'll start first by doing the person. And an easy way to do figures, like your dancing people, let me get an example to kind of put beside you. A figure of your like dancing people here is to do a stick figure and then to outline it. So if I'm going to want to do maybe this guy right here, what I would do is I would draw the stick person. So I'm going to draw his head, his body, a leg that goes here. Looks like a leg that goes, yeah, it's not quite that, but we'll just go with it. And then he has arms that are going up like he's standing on his head. So there's my person. Then you're going to take a Sharpie and you're going to outline. This guy looks like he's actually like break dancing, spinning on his head. So, and you're going to take a Sharpie and you're going to outline. You're going to outline the head. Then you're going to do a neck. So you're going to do And see how I'm just going around? I'm going to do some hands. I didn't have hands in here before. And I'm just going around. I give them a belly or body. Give them some feet. I didn't draw the feet on there. If you need to draw the feet, you can draw the feet. Give them another hand. And go back in. I'm going to zoom in on that so you can kind of see. See how you see the stick figure inside there? Now, we're going to have, this is going to look almost like a cartoon. See how his drawings, a lot of them had that like outline to them? Because remember how he worked in the subway and he used like those boards that were available to him because he was drawing fast? So we're going to actually do a border. And we're going to use this big marker to start off with to do the border. We're going to go outline with the small marker with the big marker, but we're just going to do it. When he drew really fast, so he didn't have to worry about pre-drawing and getting a ruler and doing all that stuff. So we're just going to draw a border. It may not be straight, but we're not going to worry about it. So we're going to take this thick marker and we're going to draw a border. You need to turn your page. Turn your page. And if your corners are a little uneven, we can fix that with the smaller marker when we're done. You see I'm turning the page so it's easy for me to draw a straighter line, but my lines aren't exactly straight. It's okay. Now, I have my border, and I'm also going to do my horizon line, which is kind of like my floor line. But my guy, remember how I said he was kind of standing on his head? So I'm going to draw it. I'm going to stop with my person. And see, I've got that part where it doesn't come all the way to it. I might have to stop and maybe do that with a smaller marker. But we're also going to outline our person too. So now that I've got that, I'm going to outline my person. I'm going to go over that small line with the big marker. See how this corner is a little weird? I'll fix that. Now I'm going to do this really quick. You may want to do this a little slower. We want the lines to be about the same thickness. See how I'm kind of turning my page? So it's easy for all my lines to kind of line up at corners. So I can kind of do straight lines. The only way it's a little harder is when you have to do that corner. Like a rounded of its leg. Now, did I do my head fast or I kind of go a little slower? I went a little slower. Now, see I've got some corners here. See like this corner doesn't exactly match up. I can take that small marker and fix that. Fix that there. Make that line go all the way across. Make that smoother. Now I want its head to go in a little bit because see how the heads went in a little bit? So I want that head to go in a little bit like that. But any line that maybe doesn't meet up, I'm going to go back in and kind of fix just with that little marker. those look pretty good. Maybe on the corner here. See how this corner's got a little bit of line that doesn't match up? Okay. Now, I forgot he's on his head. I did crazy guy on his head this time. Then, oops. Let me get an eraser real quick. Oops, I have it. Then you're going to erase. If your eraser, this guy here, because we don't want him to have a skeleton. Now, if you wanted to do a heart, you could do a heart. I may put a heart up here. I think I will do that. You could draw it. I'm just, for the sake of time, I'm just going to draw it with a Sharpie. But I would draw it with a pencil first. And I've got some thin lines. I'm going to make a little thicker with the smaller one so it matches. See how these are a little thinner? Make them to match. Make that even. Okay, now it looks a little better. Now we got to do our accents. We got to do all our little rhythm lines. I want my heart to look like it's pounding. Do some pounding lines. It's like a thumping heart. I want to look like he's spinning on his head. See how these are round? Like he's spinning. On his elbows looking like he's moving. Maybe some movie elbows. Spinny knees. Maybe spinny feet. Maybe he's kicking his foot here. See how I put some movement lines on him like he's dancing. So you want to do some dancing lines. See how on this guy, it's like he's, let me zoom out a little bit. See, like here, he's got some feet kicky lines. His foot here, he's wiggling his hand, wiggling his elbow. So add your wiggle lines. Once you have it all drawn and outlined, you can add a pattern to the bottom. It could be, and this one, see, I can see it up close. I put some zigzags and some swirls. And I got that off of this. See how those are here? Zigzags and swirls. You could do, I think on this one, I'm just gonna do polka dots. And I would do those all the way through because the pattern is gonna cover the whole entire base, which is like the floor. So you're gonna put a pattern, could be any type of pattern. I'll give you a handout of some examples of his pictures, so you can maybe take some patterns that he has in his pictures. So he has some swirls, some circles. This one just has more of his one thing. So it could just be a basic pattern like I did, or it can be a fancier pattern. Here, it's up to you. Then we're going to color. We're going to use pastels, oil pastels, so not the chalk. And his pictures were always very bright. He lived in the 80s and the 90s, and during that time frame, art was really bright. So I'm going to use for his body, I'm going to use this bright blue. And oil pastel is really nice because basically you can put it on, but you're going to have to be very careful to not, see, I accidentally got it on the black. Try not to get it on the black because you're going to do this, and then you can smooth it. You can smooth it to make it look more solid. See, I can smooth that, but you got to put it on first. Put it on first and then smooth it. So I would do his whole body, and you can kind of smooth it in sections. Put it on a little section, smooth it. Put it on a little section, smooth it if you want, and then put it on a little section, smooth it. If you want to do it that way, you can do it that way. That's kind of how I did it with my example here. I just put it on a little section and I smooth it. But see how I stayed out of the black? You want to do the best you can to stay out of the black line. See how I kind of got it in the black line a little bit. You can see it. You want to stay out of the black line the best you can. So you do your whole body in one color. Like I said, maybe since I did my heart, I would do same thing. Do my heart. Now I'm going to show you something in a second. Now remember how I did that blue? Look what it did to my hand. I got blue on it. Would I want to smooth my heart with this finger? No way. So I'm going to probably use, ooh, that one's got blue on it too, so I'm probably going to smooth with this finger. So I just smooth it. See how nice that looks? Smooth it, smooth it. So now I've got two fingers, so I'm probably going to have to maybe use this finger maybe to smooth the background. You're going to do, you'll leave this white. If you want to do a heart, you can do the body, and then you can do this a different color. Now this one, you can go over the little stuff on here. That's okay for that last bit. So maybe I want to do that in green. So like I said, for this bottom part, you can go over it, go over your pattern. So when you do this one, you can go over everything. Like I said, do a different, or you can wash your hands and then you're going to smooth over. See how it'll be okay to smooth over your pattern. You'll be able to see it. Color. Like I said, if you want to go in different sections, go around your head. Don't get it in your head because your head's going to be blue. Go around your head. Do your whole thing. You don't want to have any white. Your whole picture is going to be colored except for this, but be careful. You don't want to get this in the sections. I got a little purple here. If you want, you can take a piece of scratch paper, cover this up while you're doing this section. Maybe cover this up while you're doing this one so you don't put any pastel down. That's a trick sometimes we do. So that you'll be done. So what you do is you draw stick figure, outline it with your pencil, then first do it with the thin Sharpie, then you'll do it with the thick Sharpie, you'll do a border, you'll do a horizon line, you'll do your movement lines, you'll do your pattern, and then you'll choose a color to do your body, a color to do your floor. If you have a heart, you can do it in a color, and then you'll do all your pastels. Now, oil pastel will get on your hands. You can use a little of your hand sanitizer, and that will take it right off. You don't even have to go and wash your hands in the sink. It just takes it right off. You can use this as that pump one, but you can also use the foam stuff in your room. And then see, it's all gone. You don't even have to wash your hands. So that's your next project.